Wow. Wow. Here we are. Casey, Derek, New York's #2 sports show. You know where you are, folks, if you're tuning in. You know the deal by now, okay? We do recaps of all New York sports stuff. We don't include Buffalo in this, don't worry about it. We're not getting into that now, okay? This is just for Giants and Jets. And I'm sure if you're tuning in, you know the deal already, okay? The Jets are winless. They're pathetic. They're moribund. They're anemic. They're all the things. All the, adjectives used to describe something that's decaying and dying and is bland and just pathetic. Those are all the adjectives for the Jets. And then we have the Giants who, my God, it was, what was 19-0 at one point? Oh my God, the Giants, they're going to shock the fucking world in Mile High Stadium. And they're like, no. Hold my beer. Let's just find a way that we can fuck this up. And here we are. And that's why we're here. So, Derek, how you doing, buddy? I'm sure you're feeling fantastic.
Yeah, hey, the Giants find new ways to embarrass themselves. Just unbelievable, Casey. It finally seemed like there was a chance. And it's hard for me to really fully buy it, but it seemed like maybe there was like a changing of the guard, like the vibes were different, like maybe not that the Giants have arrived, but like, here we go.
Yeah.
Big win against the Eagles. Go to Denver, which is a tough place to play against a good Denver team. Not an amazing Denver team, but a good one.
Yeah. Playoff team last year, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was winning handily. Like 19-0, like you said, 26-8.
Yes.
They're up 26-8 with just over 5 minutes left, technically. I think the Giants at one point had a 99.8% chance of winning with maybe about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
And they find a way to lose. And we've seen it many times. And this is probably one of the worst collapses that you'll see. You kind of become numb to it because, the Giants have been on the side of many of them. Mm-hmm. I was starting to get a little bit very intrigued by next week's game. Like, Giants Eagles next week would have been pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And now that's lost. It just is. And there's so many places to go here, man. They're playing so well.
I know that's what's just so shitty about this. Yeah.
But it's inexcusable. And there's many things. To allow 33 points in the fourth quarter, which I believe they said was tied for second in NFL history.
I was going to say, if that isn't the record. Yeah, right. Wow.
33 points after they scored none for 3 quarters.
Giants defense was locking them up. I had them on fantasy in one of my leagues. I'm like, all right. I was like thinking like maybe this could work out. And then I'm like, all right, here we go. And then, the hold my beer moment. Well,
right.
There we go.
Yeah. They just can't help themselves. So yet again, like they have not won a road game since early last year against the Seahawks.
Wow.
They have not won 2 games in a row since a couple of seasons ago. So that still continues. It was a chance to kind of change the narrative. And instead, you end up feeling worse than you did. You feel worse in a way. I mean, obviously the win last week was good, but it's like this is embarrassing. Front office, coaches, players, like this cannot happen. And we'll kind of go rapid fire here. And part of me wants to go like chronological with the game, but there's some parts that are just like Shane Bowen needs to be the defensive coordinator for the Giants needs to be fired. Just incompetence that yet again, because this finish was very similar to the Dallas game. Now the difference here is the Dallas game was back and forth, but here you are where now that game the Giants were up by 3 points very late and Dallas gets a field goal to tie it. Here the Giants are up by 2, but it's similar premise. And we'll talk about why they're up by 2 because they don't because
that's that's a subtopic right there.
Is a continued abomination. But with the Giants here, it's 35 seconds left or so. And the first play is 3-man rush, prevent defense. And Brian Burns after the game, he's walking, into the, in the tunnel saying, muttering that like dropping 8. You did the same shit against Dallas. That's losing football. That's preventing you from winning. And he did it again. Like, at least put your team in a position. Like, the best chance you had is for Bo Nix to be running around under pressure. You give him all day long to throw, something good's going to happen.
Yeah.
So that pisses me off to no end. And part of that falls on Dable as well. Like, look, you are the head of the operation. So that does fall on you too.
Yeah.
But really the moment when it really turned, and, we'll go back into some of the good stuff earlier on, but like, Jackson Dart interception, unfortunately, really was like the moment where it's like, whoa, okay, like this could be problems. But I'm also thinking to myself, look, this could end up being awful, which it was. Or hey, how about a fucking competent team? Just because that was bad, you're still up by 10 with like 4 minutes left. Find a way to still get it done. You don't have to allow them to score points every time. Yep. And then what bothered me on the offensive side is 2 straight drives when they're trying to seal the game. Run, pass. So predictable. And going long, like Jackson Dart, his strong suit is not deep ball throwing, right? He does a lot of things well. He's not good at the deep ball. And there was that 3rd and long to Wan'Dale Robinson that had no chance. Like, you're just losing the game at that point. And you know what? Credit for getting that touchdown. But to be honest with you, Casey, like, the refs kind of helped him out a little bit there.
Yeah,
on a couple
lot
of
flags on that drive. Yep.
I'm not sure if you saw it. No one really talked much about like the Wan'Dale Robinson 4th and 19 play. I'm pretty sure if that got reviewed,
it was close, man.
He was short.
Yeah.
And the John Franklin Myers, now I know he has a reputation back with the Jets. That was a pretty weak roughing the passer call.
I think so. I mean, that was definitely, if you are, you got tinfoil hat on the NFL and rigging games and stuff like that, I could definitely see that. I noticed that too on that drive. I was like, wow, they're really letting this stretch out as long as possible.
As long as possible. Because it seemed like they were going to lose. Yeah. And again, like the Wan'Dale thing kind of gets swept under the rug because it didn't matter anymore with the ref and the passer. So no one cared to review anything.
Yep.
And then to me, the pass interference where Dart throws it down the right sideline towards Bull Collins, in my opinion, that was kind of like a ticky and Sean Payton freaked out and they threw a flag there. So like Jackson Dart was really good up until the interception, but I don't want to sit here and be like, oh yeah, like what an amazing drive. It was not, again, it was a bit ref aided and he was just chucking it up.
Yep.
If we're being honest. So yeah, like, but a pretty good start. It looked like it was going to be a defensive struggle on both sides. Then all of a sudden things open up and you get that long touchdown to Daniel Bellinger, 44-yard touchdown to give the Giants a 7-0 lead. Second quarter, there's a nice drive that ends up in a Cam Scattaboo 13-yard touchdown catch. And Scattaboo, a little more quiet today. He didn't have like the big game that he had against the Eagles. And look, the Broncos have a really good defense, so I'm not going to blame him or anything. But yeah, like, just an excellent, well-played. The defense was fantastic. And maybe some blame goes to Denver as well as far as play calling. But hey, like the Giants did a really good job. And what really killed them as we go into the second half is a couple of injuries. One less notable, one more notable. Javon Holland, the safety, gets hurt and Dane Belton replaces him. And that was okay on the surface. Now, I don't know like the inner workings of it, and there may have been issues there, but the bad one is Paulson Adebo goes down and fucking Deonte Banks, who is just fucking awful. He gets worse and worse every game. This is a first-round pick in 2023 that they traded up one spot to get. There are just too many horrible draft picks by Joe Shane over the time that even if there's good ones now, it's just like hard to overcome. And so it's a depth issue because like, he's like your third cornerback, and they were using him for a while as like a platoon with Cordell Flott, even though Cordell Flott was so much better. But because Deonte Banks was a first-round pick, we had to try to make that work.
Yep.
Even at the cost of winning games. And within all that, you have fucking the kicker situation. Jude McAtamney, who seems like a good guy, nothing against him personally.
Yeah.
Like, this was a player that lost out on a starting job at Rutgers. Like he couldn't hold like a starting college job. And the only reason why he's on the team is they have something called the international exempt list that every team kind of has, and you can, kind of acquire players that way. So that's how McAtamney kind of made his way on the Giants. I think maybe a year or two ago. Give him credit for like the perseverance or whatever, but like the guy they don't trust him to kick, and he missed a couple of really big extra points, and not for nothing. And he might be not good anymore, but Younghoe Koo was signed after the Gano injury goes down. Koo, who had some good years with the Falcons, kind of tailed off a little bit recently. He's on the practice squad. Like, give him a fucking shot.
Exactly. Wow.
Like people would, if you're not a Giant fan, you probably wouldn't even have known that. But,
no, I didn't know that Koo made it on your team. Yeah, man, I would bring him on. Why not? Yeah.
So it's always some kicker bullshit that like finds its way. Graham Gano should have never been brought back. The problem lies there. He should have never been brought back. He's old, he's injured, and he's actually paid some money. It seemed like a no-brainer to just kind of cut bait there.
What a disaster. Yeah.
And in this game as well, like there's like 2-point conversion bullshit where the Giants go 0 for 1 on 2-point conversions and the Broncos go 2 for 2. Mm-hmm. Little things like that make a huge difference.
And especially when you're missing extra points,
Exactly. Yeah. It forced them into that situation, right? If you're taking extra points, it's a simple situation.
Yep.
Like you're up 21-0 and the whole thing can be different. But the fourth quarter, just an absolute disaster where Denver finally gets on the board. But the Giants, here is where I thought the game was essentially over. It's 19-8 Giants, and you had this very fortunate un-Giant-like play where Jackson Dart on a 3rd and 17 at the Denver 41, like things were not looking good in that moment. It goes off of Wan'Dale Robinson and into the arms of Theo Johnson.
That's when you thought, destiny.
And it's like, wow, things are really turning around. Like that would normally happen against us, not for us. So
right.
I think I'm a pretty pessimistic type style fan. Like, wow, they probably won the game with that. They probably 26-8. It's probably done. Nope.
No.
Somehow it wasn't. And Denver has this sort of like 13 play, 74-yard, 5-minute drive, which results in a touchdown and 2-point conversion. And that was kind of the maximum of like when I said before the 99.7 or 8% chance. It was during this drive, which one of the plays was a 4th and 3, and Drew Phillips was called for defensive pass interference. You're like, so many times they were one play away from just really putting this game on complete ice and couldn't do it. And Denver eventually gets a touchdown, gets a 2-point conversion, and then that is when the Jackson Dart interception happens. 2-yard run Scattaboo, 3-yard run Scattaboo. Denver's calling timeouts. And Jackson Dart, I don't know what he was thinking about. I don't know what he saw. He threw it right to the guy.
He really did. Yeah.
What was that? I don't know. I
saw
what the
someone
thought process
behind
was.
there was somebody open like one line behind him. You know what I'm saying? But it was such it was very ugly.
And in that moment, it's like, oh no, this could be disaster. And sure enough, it is. Denver scores very quickly after that. On a Bo Nix to RJ Harvey. I believe that's his first. I think it's RJ, rookie running back.
RJ Harvey. Yep.
Gets the touchdown there. And then the Giants go 3 down again, like I had alluded to before, with the conservative style run, deep pass, nothing.
Yeah.
And Denver gets the ball back, and then boom. I mean, Bo Nix is like running all over the fucking place. Marvin Mims had a couple of big receptions.
Huge catches, yeah.
Against Drew, they targeted Drew Phillips. The defense pisses me off. Brian Burns is unbelievable. Like Brian Burns.
The dude was hopping around on one leg and still, affecting the game. Yeah,
I really respect it. I feel for it. Like he says I like his attitude, and his play's been great. Like, he's the guy.
I know. I felt so bad when they were able to, get him off sides because, that was just like, you feel for him in that moment because it's like, he's the one busting his ass trying to get.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Man. So Nix gets that touchdown, and the Giants, like we talked about, we don't have to go back into it, but where they get that touchdown. Here's what I will say, and I'm always thinking ahead to how much time is left. I truly was hoping that Jackson Dart did not get in because I didn't want Denver to have 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
Now, a good defense can make that work. I know this defense. I've seen it. And we saw what happened. So I really was, but here's the fucked up thing. Brian Dable was actually, because we didn't know if it was a touchdown or not, right? Originally on the field, it was called no touchdown.
No touchdown. Yep.
And I understand there's chaos, but the Giants had one timeout left. Denver had none. Brian Dable is rushing to call timeout. I'm thinking, what are you doing? You want time to it's a little bit of a, look, I'm not saying it's a simple thing.
Right.
But you want to somehow maneuver away for you to, of course, score a touchdown, obviously, and to give Denver as little time left as possible. So even the idea of Dable calling a timeout there, I would have been if let's say that the Dart touchdown didn't count and Dable
called it.
I would have been red hot.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you thinking about? So that happens. And then, Denver, like I said, first play, 29 yards to Marvin Mims, where Bo Nix could step up. A three-man rush does nothing at all.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. You may as well fucking have no one.
Right.
What is a three-man rush going to do? Seriously, I want 5, 6. I'm not saying it's always going to work, but
you got to put more pressure on him.
You got to put pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah. Especially in that moment. Especially because they're feeling themselves so much. I mean, that's what just like,
off of the missed extra point.
Right.
So even more, it's like, okay, guys, all we need is a field goal to win the game.
Exactly.
And fucking McAtamney, you could tell he was shitting his pants.
Oh yeah.
But he looked nervous as fuck.
He looked nervous, and then once he missed it, his head just went straight down. He never lifted his head.
Yeah, I think that was the man. I think that was the last time that we'll see him.
I think
in
so
an NFL uniform.
too. I would, you don't want to root for someone to lose their job.
Yeah, we're not rooting for
this
it,
is
but
the
it's
NFL.
the reality.
This is the reality. Yeah, I mean, it's just as someone that's just kind of rooting for the Giants at this point because there's really no New York goodness in any regard in terms of my team. So pulling for you guys. Yeah, I just you get punched in, the Giants were on a roll. It's like you get punched in the mouth and then kind of just to fold over, like you're saying, the defense just folding over in the way that it did. It's just man, yeah, it's tough, bro. It really is. I would be, I guess, as someone, again, this is as just a fan of football and someone rooting for you guys. I would be so, I guess, encouraged by Jackson Dart and the things at least you put up a fight against Denver. I know that's this is moral victory bullshit, but but still, it's just, but all that said too, it's just tough, man. It's tough with this whole defensive.
Yeah, just because, again, the whole thing here is that it seemed as if maybe a corner was maybe turned.
Yeah,
and
it really felt like it.
And then you get punched in the mouth. Like this, it's just, it changes the course of the rest of the season.
It does. This, I know, I hate to say it, but this game meant everything because now this Philly, you're thinking right, Philly, oh my God, forget it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That is what this did. We could have, these future episodes could have been a much different tone and feel. It's whoa, because remember we talked about this, be fucking 3 and 4, be in the vicinity. But no, every year it's 2 and 4. It's like what we see here. It's just a horrible record that you have no chance. And I understand that the 2025 Giants, it's not about the playoffs. I understand that. But when you have some of these losses, think about it. The Cowboy loss was crazy.
Yeah, that was rough.
Losing to the Saints. Just that alone. Yeah.
But this is a whole other level.
Right. This is a loss of epic proportions. This is fucked up. 33 points in the fourth quarter after scoring none for 3 quarters.
Especially because you had Denver. They weren't doing shit all
They looked
game.
Checked out.
They looked checked out. They looked just as lost as they did against the Jets. That basically carried over for the first 3 quarters.
Right.
And then they get, that interception just kind of changes the mojo, and then they just ride that shit. Bo Nix gets 2 rushing touchdowns. Fucking Bo Nix. I mean, what? I mean, what?
Bo Nix looked terrible.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's going crazy, in the fourth quarter out of nowhere.
It was, man. I'm sorry, man. I mean, Philly coming up next week. You would wish that you could. I guess, whatever. I mean, we'll play the games and see what happens. But
yeah, exactly. I guess it would hurt more if somehow the Giants if they were 4-2, if they were really right there.
Right.
regardless of all that, it does suck.
Yeah. Sorry. I was just going to say, what's frustrating too is like the NFC East, it's like kind of wide open. I mean, with, Dallas beating Washington, and now it's like you got a bunch of 3-3 teams or 3-1. I mean, Philly won today, but still, obviously, they're vulnerable. So
exactly. And it's set up a situation. And look, knowing the Giant Eagle rivalry and like the idea of beating the Eagles 2 times in 3 weeks is not one that is overly likely. But still, if they had won this game today, let's just say they won this game today and then they somehow won next week, right? Like, not saying that would have happened. They would have been 4-4, and the Eagles would have been 5-3, but the Giants would actually have the tiebreaker over them. Again, I know it's like a bit foolish to even go there, but like to your point, like, the Commanders are really struggling right now, and Jaden Daniels is hurt, and the Cowboys, like, it's a great offense, but the defense is terrible. Like, the point is like the NFC East. I'm with you. Like, the NFC East, if anything, was looking a little bit vulnerable.
Yeah, man. And you had it right there. That's what just makes it even worse. If you got blown out 35-0, it obviously sucks. But it's like, okay, like clearly we don't belong. But you're like, shit, man. We're like 1 or 2 plays away from being undefeated with Jackson Dart, really, because the same thing could be said about the Saints game too, right? A couple, mistakes here and there, and
the Giants are playing. The Giants are playing like, for the most part, competitive football.
They seem locked in the first half. Like, I guess when the script is scripting, they're on fire. But then as things start to pivot,
they were playing with such swagger. Like, that was the word but I even said it before. There was so much confidence the way they were playing.
100%.
Something that I have not seen from this team in a long time.
No.
They looked like they like there was confidence. It's like, hey, like, we're here. Like we belong here. And it all just goes away like that. Crazy.
Yeah.
But shall we segue into your Jets?
I guess so, man. But again, as someone that had to watch the Jets for the 1:00 games, and I was looking forward to this Giant game at 4 because I was like, this is an actual football team playing actual football. Because when you watch the Jets, I mean, they're literally their own brand of football. Like, I mean, I almost think it's like amateur football. Like, we don't belong on TV. That's how bad we are. Like, I wish that we've adopted the fucking rules of football, I'll call it proper football overseas, and how teams get relegated if they suck and they lose money, and therefore they're like, that system needs to be in place for the Jets. Because I mean, the team that we have, like, I mean, I was looking over the roster today. It's just like, I don't even know half these guys, because these guys are just like a bunch of nobodies. And look, the Jets lost 13-6 to Carolina. I really didn't have many expectations going to this game because Garrett Wilson is out. And as I just alluded to, who are we going to depend on? Alan Lazard and Josh Reynolds, who would, like, with all due respect, would be like solid wide receiver 4s on a good team. You know what I mean? But that's who we have to rely on, is these 2 guys. And, yes, Mason Taylor's on the whatever. Okay, whoop-de-frickin-do, But this team, I mean, on offense, it's like, it's an embarrassment. It's a joke. Like, I know there's the cliche about like, oh, like a college team could beat this team. They're that bad. But like, legitimately, I almost feel like, Ohio State could put up a fight against this fucking team. Just like, I don't know what to say anymore. I mean, look, 0-7, I will give credit to the defense. They showed up again this week and kept us in the game, but we can't score points, bro. This is the second straight week of not scoring a touchdown. We scored one in, the last time was week 5, but mind you too, that was during garbage time. So our last like actual meaningful touchdown where it was still early enough in the game, was against Miami on that Monday night. So like, we haven't scored a legitimate touchdown in like 3 weeks. Justin Fields looked just as lost as ever. I think at this point with him, it's just the New York pressure is now just like, it's just that exponential weight added on his shoulders now, where the guy couldn't throw the ball to begin with, but now it's like the whole city is against him. So now he just can't do shit anymore. The same stuff, very unimaginative offense again, just a lot of up the middle with Breece Hall. And then, Fields trying to attempt to make a pass on third down, most of the time failing. Shooting themselves in the foot. I have here more illegal shifts because there was a drive where, things were starting to happen. But of course we had another illegal shift, and someone on the broadcast pointed out, I think it was with Mark Schlereth or one of them, was saying how like the Jets this year, we have like the most, like he's never seen so many illegal shifts by a team this year, because it's like the Jets offense just doesn't know when the ball's being snapped and like when to so the whole thing is it's crazy and funny too. Like Aaron Glenn, right? Like last week, right? The reporter brings up the fact about benching Justin Fields, and he acts like the guy is out of his mind for doing so. And then literally 2 quarters of football later, Justin Fields, wow, go figure, is benched by Tyrod Taylor.
How you gonna ask me that?
What's that?
Like, how you gonna ask me that? Yeah,
how you gonna ask me that? Exactly. Come on, man. How you gonna?
Serious?
Yeah. It's just like, yeah, bro. So he's in over his head. It's so evidently clear. I mean, I will give him credit that the defensive side of the ball seemed prepared this week. So I guess there are things to be a little encouraged by. But if you can't score points, it's kind of hard to be encouraged by our defense holding these teams, under 20 points or whatever like that. But, no turnovers again. Like I say that the defense did well. And I mean, yes, they did stop, but no forced turnovers. J.C. Horn, the corner on Carolina, comes up with 2 big picks against Tyrod Taylor, who came in the second half. I'm sorry, everybody, I'm jumping all over the place, but just stream of conscience here.
Yeah.
But it was funny. I saw J.C. Horn making these interceptions, and I'm like, is Sauce it's like, does Sauce Gardner do that ever? Does he? Like, I still like it. I don't know. Every week that I watch this team, I'm just reminded that we have this guy on our team who is supposed to be like this elite defender that I just don't seem to understand. Like, I'm like, what am I missing that all these experts see in this guy to make him like one of the best in the business? Like, I understand that he can cover people well and he's handsy, but it's like in terms of tackling and getting turnovers, I mean, that he doesn't do any of that stuff. And it's just like to see someone on the other team like J.C. Horn making these 2 like pivotal interceptions. I'm just like, man, like, Sauce, this is your 4th year in the league. Like, I mean, I don't have the information on hand right now, but like, what is your career interception count? 1? I mean, it's like he doesn't have many, if at all.
It's 3.
3. Okay, so there you go. Like,
and two were from his rookie year.
From his rookie year, right?
Yeah.
There you go. So, I don't know. I guess at this point with the team, bro, it's like we're 0-7. I'm looking at this team and I'm really thinking, like, do I really like get rid of Sauce Gardner? I know we just paid him, but I mean, I'm sure someone will take him on.
Hey, you got to be open.
You got to be open to anything, bro.
You got to be open for business.
Yeah, you really do, because it's like Breece Hall, like I mean, we didn't pick him up like we did for the other 2 guys, Sauce and Garrett. So, get rid of him, dump him to Kansas City. I just saw Kareem Hunt got hurt today, so I'm sure Kansas City will be calling, and then he'll fucking thrive over there. I don't know. Like, this whole thing just needs to be blown up because, and just last thing before I finish here, like Tyrod Taylor came in. A lot of people obviously wanted him in last week. Now, I was one of these people that, yes, I did want him in, but I wasn't like under this assumption that like because he was coming in, we were going to win any of these games. Even the game last week, I didn't think necessarily him coming in would, get us over the hump. And lo and behold, there was plenty of opportunities in this game. Bryce Young goes out of the game late in the 3rd quarter when he got his ankle rolled up on. Andy Dalton comes in. We kick a field goal to make it 13-6, and then we are able to stop Andy Dalton on 2 drives. They had to punt the ball to us twice. So it's like Tyrod Taylor, like, here you are, man. It's 13-6.
Yeah.
You got the ball. Like, you're supposed to be, everyone's been bitching about you coming in and being the difference maker. And yes, like, did the offense look, I guess, a little bit more well-oiled or whatever, however you want to put it, so to speak? Like, sure, but, plenty of underthrown balls. Like, I mean, I did appreciate him, I guess, making an attempt to try and, take advantage of some of these man-on-man coverages and stuff like that. But, when the ball is underthrown, it obviously lets the defender get back into the play. So, Tyrod Taylor didn't really do all that for us. And here we are, and it's just like, I don't know, hindsight's 2020, but you think like Aaron Glenn, man, like you didn't want Aaron Rodgers. Look, I was kind of tired of Rodgers too. I'm not going to, but you decided not to go with Rodgers because you truly believe that you could, do this reclamation project on Justin Fields with Tyrod Taylor as your backup quarterback. And like, here we are now 7 weeks into the season. The Justin Fields thing era is over. I mean, I guess he could start a game again, hypothetically, here. I don't really know what they're going to do, but I would assume they're going to go with Tyrod for the next game. But it's just like, here we are, man. We got this, aged, Tyrod Taylor is who he is at this point. He doesn't even seem to be able to, instill any magic into this offense to get us rolling. And so we're stuck, man. I do not know how we will win a game. What's going to happen because we're going to fuck ourselves over for the draft. I guess it'll be a heavy rushing day, that whatever day that comes. But bro, it is like, I mean, it's like a minor league team. It feels like at times.
It's crazy because the Jets have had so many dark times consistently, and yet this somehow feels like it's worse than those times.
It really does.
And Tyrod Taylor, who was a Giant, and had some success, was a Jet last year. Yeah, Tyrod, and look, when he was first in, it's like, okay, it feels a little bit different, like you said, than Fields. Like it feels like more of just a normal quarterback who could just make simple throws.
I'm not,
but some of those interceptions were pretty shitty. He just lobbing it up there. Like I was not impressed by Tyrod.
No.
And look, Tyrod Taylor's 36 years old, but the ironic thing is that Andy Dalton, 37 years old, made some throws when he had to. And a lot of that has to do with Dave Canales, kind of knows what he's doing with Carolina.
Where offensive guy, right?
Where with the Jets, it's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on there. So that's part of it. But it'll be interesting. I mean, interesting is the wrong word, but I wonder who will start. Only for the fact that it might be Tyrod because they bench Fields, but it's not like Tyrod necessarily took it and ran with it.
Exactly.
So, and they did invest some, decent money into Fields. So, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, at the moment right now, it's up in the air. At the press conference, he wouldn't really give a definitive answer on what he's going to do, which obviously, again, this is just why, it's just because after the press conference last week, it's just funny now this week after doing it's like, oh, I have no idea, I don't know, what guys, don't pressure me into making a decision here. It's like,
I think it was Brian Costello from the Post.
It was Costello for the original question.
I wish he would say something. It's like, oh, I thought that was a crazy question.
Yeah, I thought I suck at my job.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Apparently you do. Aaron Glenn. It's hard to be a one and done, but it's possible. It's hard. They don't want to. They don't want to fire him.
They don't.
They really don't. It would take not winning it all or winning one game.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
It's tough, dude. I mean, I think as a Jet fan, look, did I think that this year we were going to do all that much? No. I mean, when we did our predictions at the beginning of the year, I think I had them getting 6 wins, you know what I mean?
Right,
and I think that was even a little generous in terms of maybe they could pull one out against the Patriots, which obviously doesn't seem like that's going to fucking happen whenever we play them. But, the thing is you want to see some kind of growth here.
Right.
And it's the guy doesn't even know what he's doing, and it's week. It's going to be week 8 here.
And do you really want? And this is always the question.
Yeah.
Do you want the new quarterback? There's going to be a new quarterback next year, whether via the draft, probably via the draft.
Yeah.
Do you want Muji and Glenn basically molding this guy, or do you want just someone fresh and new?
No fucking yeah. I mean, right now it's hard. It's hard to imagine that. Even Woody Johnson allowing Aaron Glenn to make that decision now.
Yeah.
I guess, like you said, obviously this was a long-term plan here.
Yes.
And, you know, Aaron Glenn loves to remind us that, you know, the Lions, when he was with the Lions with Dan Campbell, how they went 0-10 or whatever. And, you know, but, you know, let's also keep in mind that Dan Campbell examples, there's a reason why it's the Dan Campbell example, because most teams that go through some kind of rut like that don't usually pan out. So I think, you know, referencing that Lions team, I understand you were on it, you know what I mean? But like, come on, man. It's if that's the only thing you're going to rest your laurels on at this point, like, oh, well, like at least we're not 0-10 yet. It's like, okay, bro, like that's,
wait 3 more weeks.
Really instilling a lot of leadership. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think they gotta look. You know, it's kind of funny how eerily similar it is to me. Like Gerard Mayo, right? Like a longtime great Patriot player that was beloved by Patriots.
True.
Comes in, you know. And you know, was supposed to be given all this time to be, you know, he was groomed this whole time with Belichick, and once Belichick left, and then, you know, 3 wins, and it was the writing was on the wall. So look,
who's the Vrabel?
That's the thing, bro. You know, that's who we need. And, you know, and obviously it's like this year, there is no like Vrabel type, you know, I mean, I guess like, you know, if we want someone offensive minded, I guess like Cliff Kingsbury, you know, someone like that, you know, but I mean, Mike McCarthy, I guess, is out there, but it's going to be someone like that. It's like, I don't know, like doesn't have the same kind of juice as Mike Vrabel, you know, but you know, you knew that he was never coming here once that Patriots job opened up. So
but they go from one Patriot to another. Yeah. But one that had previous head coaching success.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, that's why I'm thinking, like, look, Aaron Glenn was a great player for the Jets. You know, a lot of people consider him, like, the second best corner that we had, obviously behind Darrelle Revis. Like, he was an impact player for us. Yeah. And, you know, maybe it's just going to kind of be the same fate where the coaching thing is just not going to work out. But yeah, I mean, so I guess we just got to see how these weeks shake out at this point. But
and now next week you're going to Cincinnati to take on Flacco and the Bengals, you know, have recently, you know, have a little bit more juice over there now based on their Thursday night game against the Steelers.
Yeah, so, bro, and hard for me to believe that Sauce is going to be able to lock down and either Jamar or T. Higgins.
I saw Sauce. Did he leave the game?
He got banged up, but I believe that he's okay. I mean,
he's okay.
I'll keep looking at that situation, but yeah. And then you know, Breece Hall got banged up a little bit this game. Justin Fields obviously had a slide that turned into a kind of a nasty hit, but it was one of these things where it sounded way worse than it actually was. So. I don't think that affected his play. He was already playing like shit way before that. So let's not blame it on that, please. No. But yeah, here we are, bro. It's, you know, I'm kind of numb to it at this point. It's just the team is pathetic. Woody Johnson is horrible. I really don't I don't know if anything's really going to change until he's legitimately gone. You know, I mean, it happened with the Commanders, like get rid of Snyder, that, you know, cancer, so to speak. And, you know, things maybe could flourish then, but it's bleak. And
it's, you know, we knew going to the season that our teams, that it was going to be challenging, but yet here we are, and it finds its way to being, you know, just as painful as you could ever imagine.
That's the thing about football, bro. It's just like you think you've seen it all, and there's just new ways that you could screw it up, whether it be, you know, last week with the Jets with that first half, you know, complete brain fart where they just decide to hold on to the ball for 40 seconds and stare to the stands. It's so crazy, you know, like, or you know, the Giants,
or the Giants giving up 33 points in the
33 in the fourth quarter, which is insane in itself. So it's, I don't know, man. It's really annoying.
Loser team, you know, when you watch these games, you know, like this Packers Cardinals was on at the same time. It's like winning, not amazingly. Packers and Broncos are not like these like amazingly winning teams, but the winning playoff type teams, they find ways to win, and the other teams find ways to lose. And how do you find a way to change that? And of course, it feels like the Patriots, for example, that they have found their way to kind of, you know, they get Drake May and they seem to be turning the tide, but it's a really hard thing to do. These teams just stay mired in, the cellar of their division.
Yep.
And it's hard to, as with our teams, it's really hard to break away from that.
Yeah. So we'll see, bro. I mean, we might be, picking in the top 10 this year together. It'll be great, bro.
Got to keep the tradition.
Got to keep the tradition alive. That's in our adult lives as New York sports football fans. That's basically what we look forward to. Is the draft is our Super Bowl.
Daniel Jones is fucking killing it with the Colts. 6-1, looking
6-1, looking insane.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing, right? I mean, don't you just love that? That happens. You got, obviously for us, Darnold, Geno Smith, not this year, but the Seattle Renaissance. It's just it's so great to see.
And all of a sudden your talent starts to show.
Right. Darrelle Revis, one of our greatest players ever. He says, I'm gonna go to the rivals and win a championship quick. Then I'll come back after I'm washed. And try and hang out with you, but that's the Jet thing, we get Brady, we launch Brady's career.
Right.
Our best player goes to their team to win a Super Bowl. The last quarterback to bring us to the playoffs had a butt fumble and then tried to kill a 70-year-old man, on a bender. Like, that's the kind of shit. That's the Jets, man. That's the Jets.
And then the one time that you guys almost made the playoffs, Rex Ryan, on a fucking average Bills team says, nah, we're gonna beat you in the last game of the season, so you're not making the playoffs.
Exactly. While he's rubbing his little foot fetish tattoo on his fucking with Mark's. Yeah, right. He's flicking that thing while Fitzpatrick throws 15 interceptions in the end zone. Oh man, that's the shit that's the Jet fan way, baby. But anyway, guys, as you could see, we're just trying to laugh it off at this point because the pain.
You can either laugh or cry.
Exactly. Yeah. I think we've already I think the pain is already come and gone at this point. Now we're just numb from it, and but here we are. And guys, we'll be back again next week. Maybe one of us will win, maybe one of us won't. Most likely, both of us will lose.
We're both
probably going to lose.
It's just how.
It's just how, and I'm like we said, there will be a way that we're not thinking of that we will lose.
There will be something in the record books that will happen.
100%. So make sure to come and hang out with us after those games, and we could talk about it together and talk shit about our teams. Guys, Derek also does Ranger recaps. Ranger season off to a little bit of a rocky start here, but maybe a little bit of a turnaround here.
Got a nice win. Last night, and looking to score their next game's at home. Have not scored a home goal yet, so hopefully they can.
Maybe they can finally break that because that's a pretty bad one. But stay tuned for those. Those happen. We usually get those out either that night or the morning right after the game. So, guys, thank you. We're up to 1,342 subscribers at the time of this recording, which is awesome. We've been growing like crazy, and we really appreciate you guys for joining and. Hanging out with us and enjoying the ride. So let's go Giants. Let's go Jets. All right, guys. We'll see you later. Bye.